Good morning everyone and welcome to Wildlife Sydney Zoo here in the beautiful Darling Harbour. My name is Renee and today we are going to be meeting one of Australia's weirdest and wackiest creatures. They are that strange that when they were first discovered, scientists actually thought it was a hoax. You see, these animals, they have a tail of a beaver, they have the bill and the webbed feet of a duck, and they are mammals, however they do lay eggs. So they are extremely strange, but one of my favourite animals to work with, and that is of course the elusive platypus. So I will turn this camera around and we'll see their exhibit from the front, and we'll just give you a little bit of an idea of what they get up to during the day. So I'm going to turn this around. We're going to head over here. So we are at the start of our nocturnal area here at Wildlife Sydney Zoo. And these animals, like I mentioned, are really quite elusive. So we do have Marina there in the tank, and she's actually doing a bit of the cleaning. So we'll head around the back and meet Marina a little bit later on, but I'm going to see if we can see our gorgeous girls in here. So like I mentioned, they do hide about, they're swimming around. So they are semi-aquatic, so they love to spend time in the water, but they also love to spend time up on the land as well. So these animals, they are quite strange in appearance. And like I mentioned, people did actually think it was a hoax. So there's one of our girls there swimming around. So we do have two female platypus. So this one here, this is Jackie. And Jackie is almost 16 years of age. So our second female we do have here at Wildlife Sydney Zoo, her name is Zoe. And we'll actually head around and meet her now. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of the zoo as I do head to our back of house area. But as we look down, you'll see Rocky's enclosure down there. He is our beautiful big saltwater crocodile. We would have met him last week, but I'm going to walk around to the back of house area of our platypus. And once we do get around there, you'll actually get a bit of an insight into what our keepers get up to as we are cleaning and feeding our platypus. So there are a couple of weird and wacky facts about our platypus. One of my most favourite, I did mention they are semi-aquatic. So when they do come up onto the land, they actually have the ability to retract the webbing on their front feet. This then exposes their claws, which enables them to dig burrows. So these burrows is where they will spend their nights. It's where they'll be able to nest when they do have young. And it is absolutely an amazing fact. However, when they are back in the water, those webbed feet enable them to navigate through the water and have the best swimming abilities. So we are heading down to our back of house area now. I will need to get my keys ready. These doors do have lots of locks. One of the most important things of being a zookeeper is ensuring that all of our doors are of course locked. But we'll head on in here. And this is a bit of an insight into our back of house area. So here is Marina. So she is the keeper that will be cleaning our platypus tank today. But what we'll do, I can hear that Zoe is really quite excited. So I'm going to open up this little nest box here. So this is actually where they like to spend their nights. So there's little Zoe there. She's absolutely adorable. So you'll see that nice, beautiful black bill. So this bill is incredible. So it enables them to navigate through the water and detect where their food is. So it has lots of little sensors in there, and these sensors enable them to find their food and navigate through the waters. So we're going to head back into this tank here. So when they are actually underwater, they have a flap of skin that goes over their eyes, and that means they are completely blind. So these electrosensors in their bill enable them to pick up the food and of course navigate all of the logs, any rocks that they may have as obstacles in that water. So we'll see if little Zoe pops on out through this burrow over to the side. But what we'll do is we're going to get Marina into the tank, and she will be picking up all of their old food, feeding out some new food, and just telling you a little bit about how we look after our platypus. So Zoe's coming through the tank now, and you'll be able to see her pop out that burrow. So they are a little bit awkward when they do come up onto the land. There she is. and down into the water. So they are incredibly fast as they are swimming through, and you'll see that they use that bill on the bottom of the tank. So Marina here, she's going to jump back into the tank. And would you like to go through a little bit about what we do with our platypus? Alrighty, there we go. Alright, so what do we do first, Marina?
Alright, so the first thing we need to do with every exhibit that we do clean here at Wildlife Sydney Zoo is to pick up all of the old food. Now if you guys have a look down here, we do have the old food. So there's pieces of yabby, which is one of their absolute favourites. There's a little bit of yabby shell there. They've also got some worms as well that they do like to eat. We pick all of these up and we put them all into our green bucket. It says flats. So that's the first thing that we do. When we're in here, the water's a little bit chilly as well. It's about 19 degrees, which is pretty cool.
19 degrees.
I am in my waders, so I stay nice and warm. Now we also look for every little thing here. We look underneath the furniture because sometimes all these little yabby bits can be a little bit hard to see, especially in the water. Now we pick all of these up. Make sure that the girls are in the tank as well, so I'm keeping an eye on them constantly, seeing what they're doing. But when they are in the water, they do spend most of the time actually looking for food. Now Renee did mention as they go underwater, they close their eyes, they also close their ears, and they hold their breath as well. Platypus can't breathe underwater, so as you can see we do have our girls swimming around. They will actually shut all of this and rely entirely on their bill to look for their food. Now if you do look at them carefully, you'll actually see that they're moving their bills around quite a bit, and they kind of sift through all the sand just to find all those little yummy critters that they are looking for. Now I'm not sure if you guys do know, but platypuses are pretty special. They're kind of related to reptiles, kind of related to birds, and they're also a mammal as well. So platypus is part of the monitoring family, and that only includes the platypus and 4 species of echidna. Now these guys, what's really special about them is that they're actually mammals, but they lay eggs, which is pretty weird. So what these guys do is that they lay eggs, and once they do lay their eggs, they don't have teats either. What these little babies will actually do once they hatch from the eggs is actually suckle on mum's stomach. Now mum does have a mammary gland on her stomach, and she'll excrete all the milk for the little babies, and they'll drink it from their mums like that. So it's a little bit weird. The first time somebody discovered a platypus, they did not think it was a real animal. They literally thought somebody sewed a duckbill onto a otter. But they are pretty amazing animals to work with. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen as well, we have this little weird contraption here. Now, one of the most frustrating things is that when I am in the tank and I do have guests viewing from outside, I can't actually explain what I'm doing because it is soundproof. So most of the time people are like, what are you doing there? What is this thing doing? And basically it acts like a vacuum. Now, if I did get it working properly, it should work well, but if not, no. We'll need to turn the vacuum on and then we can see what it does, and I can show you what we do with it.
So one of the weirdest and wackiest things about platypus is that the males are actually venomous. So we are lucky enough we do only have 2 females in this tank, but if we were to have a male, we would actually need to be really cautious. But they don't have fangs like a snake, they don't inject their venom that way. They actually have a spur on their hind legs. So this spur is believed to be used during breeding season, and that's to fight off other male platypus. So it is pretty unique. They are a bit of a mix of all different animals. But our females in here, like I mentioned, one is about 16 years of age, and that is Jackie. And then we have Zoe, who is about 23 years old. So they are quite old for a platypus, but hopefully they do still have quite a few healthy years with us. But what we also need to ensure is the quality of the water. So is there anything else you'd like to tell us about how we ensure that, Marina?
Well, it's this contraption here. This is called a siphon, and it basically works like a vacuum. So you guys can see we do have quite a bit bit of gravel at the bottom here, and it would be very hard to pick out all the old food like I was saying before. So you can see we do have all these worms here, and to hand pick them will probably take us a couple of hours. So what we do is that we use this siphon, and basically this siphon, what it does is that it sucks everything up, and then all of the worms and stuff like that will actually come to the top and suck out, whereas the gravel will actually stay on the bottom.
That being said, we did just get asked what type of food do they eat?
Ooh,
So would you like to show us a few examples of their food?
I do. I have all of their food prepared here.
We need to make sure we're nice and careful in this water. Not only do we need to ensure the safety of our platypus, but we also need to ensure that Marina does not fall over. It would be quite amusing for us to see, but not very fun for Marina, especially in this cold. But we do have some of their diet right here.
So this is actually their favorite food, and you guys might be able to guess what it is. This is a yabby. Ooh, Renee's being brave. I'm gonna hold it up.
There we go. So you can see those pincers. So this is the favorite food of the platypus, just like Marina did state. But unfortunately, that is also one of the reasons why wild platypus do unfortunately pass away. So a lot of farmers do put their yabby traps out into the water, and because it is the favorite food of the platypus go into those traps. Unfortunately, they cannot get out and they do drown. So they do not breathe underwater. Like Marina mentioned, they can only hold their breath for about 30 seconds to a minute. So unfortunately, that does cause a lot of our wild platypus to pass away. But that is their favorite food. I'll pop him into the tank and it'll be a bit of a meal for our plats. We can't unfortunately hand feed them like a lot of our animals because they do rely on that bill to find their food. So they will be able to navigate around. Here she comes, and we'll see what she does. But they're incredible with that bill, and she will eventually find where that yabby is. But speaking of other food, what do we have in this bowl on top?
So, I don't know if you guys are able to guess this, but this is called blackworms, and they feel as good as they look. But it is one of the yummiest things that the platypuses do eat. So we pop these guys in and they will look for it. You can actually see as soon as we drop these in, the plats will actually go straight for it and gulp up quite a bit. Now that's one of the types of worms, and then we've got mealworms, as I did mention before, all of the old food that we do need to pick up, and then we give them some fresh mealworms for today as well. And the last thing that I do have is some fly pupae too, and that's another one of their favorites. Now, platypuses are carnivorous, so they do eat a whole bunch of different types of insects, so a lot of worms. Sometimes they get crickets, they get woodies, but their favorite, absolute favorite, is that guy over there, which is that yabby. Now, one of the other cool things about platypuses is that they don't actually have any teeth. What they do have in their bills is like ridges. So what they do in the wild and also in here as well, they actually have cheek pouches and they will suck up a whole lot of the food. So all of the mealworms, they might actually get a little bit of the gravel as well. And what they'll actually do is use that gravel to break up their food, which is pretty cool.
They are incredible animals, and we'll watch them swim around for a little bit longer. But platypus in Australia, they are found down the whole east coast of Australia, including Tasmania. And their appearance does slightly differ depending on the region in which they're found. So you can imagine it is quite cool down south. As a result, they do have a bit more fur. So this insulates them, it keeps them nice and warm. But this fur is waterproof and it protects them from all of that water that they're swimming through. And then they'll go into their burrows where they will spend their night. But I might give the camera to Marina because she is in the tank. She'll be able to get a little bit closer to these girls and show you a bit of how they forage. So she'll tell you a little bit about what they're doing, a bit about their behaviours as individuals, and how we can actually tell the two girls apart.
So as Renee did mention, we have our two girls here, Jackie and Zoe. Now let me try and figure out. It is a little bit hard for us sometimes to figure out who is who, but I do believe
one of the biggest things we look for is actually their behaviour. So when they are in the water, that is the best way we can tell them apart. With our girl Jackie, she loves to do spins in the water. So that is one of the main ways we tell her apart. But when they are out of the water, we look for different markings. So the markings on our girls do differ underneath their bill. So Zoe in particular, she does have one very dark dot on the underside of her bill, whereas Jackie has quite a few different dark markings. But we'll see them swimming around, they come up for their breath. But what is your favourite feature of our platypus, Marina?
It's probably their fur. Now, Renee did mention that they do stay nice and insulated because they have pretty amazing fur. When they actually come out of the water, you can see that they're not actually wet, but they actually have droplets on their fur. And what they do is that when they do come out of the water, they will actually groom and get all these air bubbles in between their fur. So once they're in the water, they can actually stay pretty nice and insulated because of that.
So we'll continue on a little bit longer. We'll see if we have any questions coming through. One question is, do they like humans?
Platypuses are really, really shy, especially our girls, as you guys can see. They're kind of swimming around, they're kind of not like coming up to us and looking for cuddles. And that's pretty much like their wild platypuses as well. So
they are very difficult to see in the wild, just as someone did mention. They love to hide around. Typically you'll see their little nose pop up for a bit of air, but they also love to come out during dawn and dusk. So it is still quite dark at those times and they are quite difficult to see, but she's just sitting underneath that waterfall there. We do have a few more questions. One that's come through from Josh, aged 4, is do the female platypus have stingers?
no, they don't. It's just the male fur. So females don't actually have that. And one of the common questions that I do get a lot as well when people are seeing our platypus is how small they are. The males can be a little bit bigger than the females, but our females weigh between 1 kilo and 1.5 kilos.
That is absolutely amazing. We do often get comments from guests coming through that they think they're going to be the size of a beaver. They think we do have 2 baby platypus in here, but they are definitely adult platypus. Like I mentioned, one 16-year-old and one 23-year-old. But they are very elusive, and as you can see, they're very fast in the water, so they are quite difficult to spot. But I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing our platypus today. It is one of those animals that people don't know an awful lot about, and I absolutely love talking about them. But what we do when we're in here is we need to ensure this water is nice and clean for them. So that is what Marina here will continue to do. We do our water tests every single week just to ensure that this water quality is absolutely perfect for our girls. We do spoil them, they'll get their lunch and they'll be on their way. So I do hope you have enjoyed, but of course, please stick around on our socials to learn a little bit more about our other animals here at Wildlife. We have missed having you guys here at the zoo, but what we are offering next week is actually a 24-hour flash sale. So we will be giving discounted prices to our admissions, and we'd love for you to join us here at Wildlife Sydney Zoo once we do open back up to the public. So definitely check out our socials for information on that, sign up to our newsletters, and you'll be the first to know. But apart from that, thank you so much for joining us and learning about Zoe and Jackie, our gorgeous duck-billed platypus. But like I mentioned, stick around and please enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, Marina.